Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited for what we get to create today. During our rounds of gratitude, we had several people that mentioned things about physical reminders, physical clues, physical manifestation of goals, and even thoughts that were shared about nature, just sunrise and the beauty of nature. And I just kind of felt like there was the common thread through a lot of things that were shared is just anticipation or gratitude for physical manifestation or physical clues that God is here, that He's in charge, that there are miracles and tender mercies that we can anticipate because, you know, we have so many physical clues around us that His presence is here. And so I felt like that was just a really great thing for us to focus on today is gratitude for physical clues. And, you know, there's probably a million different ways that God can speak to us individually on that particular subject. So we're going to do a 90-second private meditation on gratitude for physical clues. And we'll just see what comes up. So let me get my timer ready to go. And 90-second private meditation, silent meditation on gratitude for physical clues. And just write down wherever comes to you. Begin. All right. The first thing that I wrote down is sunrise is the first clue that today is going to be a great day because God is still in charge. I love sunrise. I love sunset as well. When I look out my office window, there are some snow-capped mountains in the distance. And there's, I think Melissa was the one who mentioned the fleeting moments of sunrise on the mountains. And that's one of the things that I love to look out and just see that orange, bright tip of the mountains when the sun is coming, when the sun's rising. And also, I have some plants that are in some little pots that are now all have come up. There was one little section that was my red bell peppers. I've never started red bell peppers before. And I thought that the seeds were faulty because they were not coming up. Everything else had come up and they're all like, 3 inches tall. And these red bell peppers was just still dirt. And I was about to contact the company and say, hey, your bell peppers didn't work. But then yesterday I saw some green and today they are starting to poke their heads up. So it just took a little bit longer for these. And I'm just so grateful that I had the other plants to give me hope in having a great harvest in the summer and the fall, because these bell peppers weren't really giving me any hope because it was just dirt. But now they're starting to show some physical manifestation above the earth, and those physical clues just are bringing a lot of excitement and joy and hope. And because it took so long, there's even more joy over these little red bell peppers popping up than even, it was exciting when the other ones started popping up, but there's like an added measure of excitement because it took so long. And I know that there's some analogies that can be drawn there. Who else has something that they would like to share?
I'll share.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Melissa.
So I had a really good mastermind yesterday. Our neighborhood gets together, a couple of us get together, and we talk about just how we can prepare our minds and hearts for what is to come. And we all talked about how we felt so led to come live in this neighborhood. I live in a very new neighborhood. It's only about 2 years old. And so everyone who lives in our neighborhood is, has moved in the last 2 years. And just hearing the stories of how God has led each person to this place, to be here. So, and then having us be together and talking together and learning together. It's just such a reminder that God is pushing us in our lives, or leading us rather in our lives to be with each other. And we just feel so inspired. And it's just been an amazing experience.
Well, thank you, Melissa. I know you have mentioned to me, because we've been working together, you mentioned to me how you had a group of people in your old neighborhood that I think it was a group of women, if I remember right, that was able to get together, and you moved here and thought you would find the exact same thing. But it sounds like you've created something just slightly different, but that tells me that you're a gatherer, that, you're the one who started this mastermind, and there's, you're kind of that, the pivotal piece that got everybody together yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Who else has something they'd like to share?
I'll share. This is Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
I was thinking, the first thought that came to me, which was pretty interesting, is just tears of gratitude when I feel the Spirit. It's a clue for me that I'm connecting with heaven and they're aware of me, and that I see, feel, and hear them, and they rejoice when we see, hear, and feel them in this physical world. Also, the thought that we create things spiritually before they manifest physically. And I was just thinking of all the ways that happens, and I'm grateful for my mind that allows me to create things spiritually with Heavenly Father and then watch Him manifest in the physical world.
Beautiful. Thank you. How appropriate that you're sharing this, Rachel, because I know that you have a podcast and a Facebook group called Mother's Heart. Am I correct on that?
Called the Mother Heart, yeah.
The Mother Heart.
Well, it's called Mother Heart. You're right.
Mother Heart.
Mother
okay.
Heart.
Yes. Thank you. Got to get those, when you're searching, you want to make sure that you get it right. Yeah. And how appropriate that is that you're sharing about creating something spiritually first with Heavenly Father, and then watching it manifest. And I know that you're expecting another baby as well. And that just feels like such, again, just like Melissa was talking about, what she's created and how this is just physical evidence that she's a gatherer, that what you just shared is this physical evidence that you are a creator, and more than just like the sense of like building, creating things on your vision board or whatever. like the physical manifestation of building a baby, together with God, with him being the father of our spirits, and you being the portion that helps to bring that physical manifestation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else has something they'd like to share?
Speaking of tears, I am grateful for music that filled my eyes with tears of feeling God's touch in my life.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love that idea that tears are physical clues of emotional connection that we have with heaven, with maybe even our spirits. That's really powerful. Thank you. Who else?
Well, during that process, when I was writing, I thought of storms, like a gray cloud and a storm. And I realized that it's totally fine to dance through storms. Physically, we're able to, we feel different things. We have viruses, we have illness, we have different challenges. But as those things come, we can still dance through that and find joy.
Thank you. I'm old enough to remember Fred Astaire and the Singing in the Rain. And that vision came to me of black and white of him walking through the streets with an umbrella and letting himself get wet and just dancing through the rain, singing in the rain. Beautiful. Who else?
Something that came to me was physically, he shows me this by allowing safety, growth, and beauty in my home and in my life. He allows comfort from the Holy Ghost when I'm lost, afraid, or repentant. So he shows these physical feelings, I guess. He shows me this by allowing tender mercies in my life each day.
Beautiful. That's interesting that an emotion or like a feeling of peace maybe that he can provide is physical manifestation of his presence. We think of physical as like the tangible things that we can touch, our bodies, but our emotions or our feelings, the state of being, can actually be a physical manifestation. That's powerful. Thank you. Any last shares before we shift over to our permission process?
I was just going to share.
Let's go Tyree and then Kathy.
That my daughter and I have been at odds a little bit, and I keep talking to her about honesty, and she keeps doing things that are not honest. And I realized that that's a physical clue that I need a deeper connection with her. And so I'm grateful for that understanding.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, because sometimes kids aren't honest because they're worried about how we'll respond. They're worried they'll get in trouble or whatever. And that's really honest of you to look at what possibly the core of the dishonest behavior is. Thank you. Kathy.
Just real quick, what the phrase that was coming up for me was something good can come from this. And it just brought how even in the midst of tragedies and families pulled together and prayers and miracles and things that are seen, the great things that can come from the trials that we deal with.
Well, once again, I'm just feeling like kind of an ethereal something that, the physical manifestation of like a closer family unit or something like that, not necessarily something that you can pick up and touch or whatever, but something that you can definitely feel.
Yes.
Thank you. Love that. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process? All right, let's go ahead and take a deep breath. A lot of really interesting things have been shared. Help me to actually see the physical as something different than I had seen before. It doesn't necessarily have to be something tangible. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Thoughts are energy. A state of being is energy. An emotion is energy. So everything literally is tangible. Everything is something that can be measured. Energy is something that can be measured. Let's take one more deep breath. And first of all, just allowing yourself to have a physical, tangible connection with your highest source of information, with God, and feeling the Holy Spirit within you, allowing yourself to be physically connected with the source of inspiration, and however that looks to you. Just feel that physical, tangible connection with light, love, unconditional love, and the source of all knowledge and power. Almost feeling like you're plugged in. And being physically connected to the source of all knowledge and power, if you could ask for one gift, for one tender mercy, for one miracle, what would that be? Allow that thought to be carried through that physical connection directly through our advocate, Jesus Christ, to our Father. And as you're getting clear with that one request, just be open to know, what is the limiting belief that's showing up right now as you're anticipating the physical manifestation, physical outcome of this request that you've just sent forth to the giver of all gifts. What is the limiting belief that would disallow you to receive it? And as you're getting more clear with what that limiting belief is, also examine the cost of it. Count the cost of this limiting belief. Will it allow you to receive this miracle that you've asked for? Or will it slow it down? Will it stop it completely? Will it not even allow you to receive it? And what is the outcome? What is the physical outcome that will produce if you don't allow yourself to receive it? And if you don't like that, if you'd like to change that limiting belief so that you can receive and have a totally different outcome, this is the moment where you get to give yourself permission to choose something different by saying yes.
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 Awesome. So what are those new beliefs? Let's get 2 or 3 new beliefs that will support you in receiving whatever the physical manifestations that God has to give you. That new beliefs that will strengthen your physical connection with the source of all miracles and gifts, all good things, light, knowledge, love. What new beliefs will serve you? And as you are receiving those new beliefs, I invite you to get back into that connection, that physical connection, and ask again. With these new beliefs, strengthening that connection and the two-way connection, that strengthening the connection to God and also strengthening the connection from His abundant resources and His abundant love back to you. And if you need to alter your new beliefs just slightly or add anything that's coming to you now, go ahead and add those. Strengthen your new beliefs, strengthen that physical connection, that two-way connection. And then what is the one most important thing that you could do today that would provide physical evidence that God has heard you? One thing that you have control over that you can do today that gives physical evidence of your physical connection with God and clues that He does love you and wants to give you all that you ask for. And just be open to receive. Don't try to figure it out with your brain. What one thing is that you can do. Allow your spirit to tell you. Allow the inspiration that's coming from that source of all knowledge. What's the one most important inspired shortcut for you to know without a shadow of a doubt that you have a physical connection with God and that He cares about you and He hears you and wants you to have all good things? We have a few minutes that we'll be able to share. And while you're kind of gathering your thoughts and deciding if you're one that's going to share today, I just want to offer to have a physical connection with any of you who are listening. If you would like to have a phone call with me, 15-minute call with me, all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com. That takes you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule that time for us to just have a conversation and see what we can learn. I know that 15 minutes is a really short amount of time, but it's enough. We always are able to find exactly what it is that you need to turn your life around or to fill a gap that you have not been able to see how to get across. Who has something that they would like to share today?
I do.
Thanks, Melissa.
That was very powerful for me. What we kind of talked about last night was following promptings and just how important it is to constantly be asking the Lord for what our next step is, which is what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
But recognizing His voice, like hearing Him, and then acting, doing it, and carrying it out. And so I love the way that you phrased it. You could ask God for anything, what would it be? And it just was so clear. I just want His constant guidance in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And my limiting belief is that I won't do what He asks, and then I'll lose out on promptings. And we talked about like how we beat ourselves up because we're like, oh, I didn't follow that prompting. And, we just go into this low energy of like, I'm not worthy of promptings because I'm not following through. And so that's the cost, is that it's ensuring that I'm not getting those promptings. But my new beliefs are that I am worthy of God's promptings. My heart has every desire to align with His will. I do it. I follow through. I'm reliable. And He wants to give me every blessing I desire.
Wow, beautiful.
Very, very powerful.
Super powerful. And these new beliefs, as you read those on a daily basis, that is, I have no doubt that that's going to keep you in a space to receive His constant guidance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts before we end our call today?
I'll share. It's Rachel.
Rachel and then Tammy.
Okay. So the desire of my heart was for shame to be rooted out of me. And the limiting belief was I'm afraid to see the shame. And the cost was it's going to limit my connection to other people and to God and to myself. So my new belief is I'm a creator of connection. And that's the most powerful one. I'll just leave it at that. And then the thought came that connection roots out the shame. So I'm
Wow.
super excited to be the creator of connection with others and myself and God.
Wow, beautiful. So it's almost like the shame is a non-entity. It's like, you were worried about seeing the shame, but when you're in connection, the shame is rooted out. It's completely gone. It's non-existent. I love that. Thank you. Tammy.
Um, I didn't have a, sorry, just a minute. I didn't have a limiting belief come up, but over the last probably 24 hours, it's been an interesting experience. I feel like it's kind of been like a movie playing in my mind where I've been looking back on my life up to this point and seeing physical evidence of how God has led me my entire life and how this one path that I have been on has been carved out. And I have watched and observed as I've looked back on my life, just all these different moments where and where I know I can see exactly how God has led me along my entire life, and just the overwhelming feeling that I've had over the last day is just an immovable knowledge that I am led by God, and I just feel the need to express that testimony that I know that each of us are led by Him as we choose to allow ourselves to see that.
Well, thank you. Super powerful, Tammy. I can feel the power of your testimony, and it just resonates with the truth of it, resonates within my soul as well. Well, thank you. Awesome way to end our call today. Thank you for everyone who has shared. So grateful for everyone who is on our call today and every day, and just really excited for what we get to create this week. Everyone just go out and do your inspired shortcut and continue reading through your new beliefs throughout the week. We're just setting a tone for something amazing, and I'm just super excited for what we get to create together. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you.
Love you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.